Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Healthy AF. My name is Amy Chang, and I'm a health coach here with Healthy Life, Health and Wellness Coaching. Today's final motivation podcast here for March is one of my favorite places to go on motivation. I think it really is the key to spiraling up on your confidence, on your capability, and on your overall motivation. I saved the best for last. It's a little tool called What's Your Experience of Yourself? You can also call it your self-concept. It is how you see yourself. Now, you might know very clearly how you see yourself. I think most of us don't. There are some behaviors and actions that we take that create how we see ourselves, and we might not know we're doing them. You know, I say a lot about my German Shepherd. She's so hypervigilant in watching me, her mom, around the house. She knows all my patterns, and she makes them mean stuff. So the other day I realized that, every morning the German Shepherd and the cat and I have our coffee. I sit in my special spot right there on the couch. I look at some beautiful shelves we put up recently. I read my books. I do my meditations and my journaling. And a couple of different times I get off the couch. No one moves. The cat doesn't move. The German Shepherd doesn't move. I walk over to the coffee pot, get a little bit more coffee, come back, sit down. They're still just kind of like mildly interested in what I'm doing. I might have to go to the bathroom and come back. They don't care. And then I noticed that when I go into the kitchen and pick up my water cup and put my water cup back on the countertop, my German Shepherd pops up off her bed and she looks at me expectantly. Like, where are you going? What are you doing? What's happening now? And I realized that she's picking up on an action connection. She's making my water cup mean that I'm getting ready to leave for the gym because she knows I fill up my water cup before I go to the gym. We do the same things about the way we see ourselves when we do certain behaviors. And just like the first couple of times she jumped up, when I got up and had a drink of water, I had no clue why she was doing that. We don't always clue in that the actions we're taking, that our behaviors are creating a story in our heads about who we are. And I really like to explore this with my clients because it is so insightful for where their barriers are and also what they actually want in their lives and who they really want to be. And isn't that the core that motivates our most sustainable actions and behaviors? So I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to give you some of the questions that I ask my clients. And hopefully you can relate. If you want to stop the podcast and write some stuff down, you can. So here we go. Have you ever, especially if you're a woman in the South, have you ever run into that neighbor that moved away or whatever in the Harris Teeter and been like, oh my gosh, girl, it is so good to see you. We have got to get together. And then she says yeah, it has been so long. Well, I'll call you. We'll get together. And then neither one of you call. You don't set anything up. I used to do that. And what my experience of myself was that I was never going to do that. Was that I had disappointed her because I said I was going to do something and I didn't do it. And I didn't even think about my own experience of myself until I ran into her again maybe at the food line, maybe at the church picnic. And then it was like, oh God, I feel so embarrassed because I saw her in the grocery store and I was really glad to see her and I really did want to catch up. And then I said out of my mouth, hey, I'm going to call you. And nothing. I didn't do it. And somewhere in my brain, I make it mean that I don't follow through on things I say I'm going to do, or I'm not capable. Somewhere, that little tiny action created an experience of myself that shows up in other arenas. A few years ago, I stopped doing that, by the way. I realized that the tiniest of things create for myself that I'm not capable, that I'm not powerful, and that I am not a person who follows through. And I didn't want to live like that anymore. So now if I saw a person in the grocery store that I was really super extra delighted to see, that it was such a gift to bump into them, and that I was not going to schedule another time to see, I changed my wording. And I said something like, it's been great to see you. What a gift to see you. Love you, bye. And I didn't promise something I wasn't ready to do, because that promise, even though she may not have thought anything of it, was a promise to me, and it shifted the way I saw myself. Or I'd say, girl, we have got to catch up. And right then, set my alarm to contact her or scheduled a time that we were going to meet right then. My experience of myself shifted. All of a sudden, I was a person of my word. And when I said that I was going to do something, I knew that I was going to do it. Or I knew that I'd already done it. I hadn't procrastinated on it. I hadn't put it on the one more to-do list. Now, when you look at both those scenarios, they're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't get in touch with her. I said I was going to do it and I didn't. The experience of myself there, you can get the feel for that. Oh my gosh. And the experience of, yeah, I know, it was so great to see her that, like, I said I wanted to see her again and the appointment is set. You can hear that. You can hear that I called my shot and I took it. I am capable. I can create things that I want in my life. So this comes up all the time when we start shifting our behaviors, because we're not aware of our experience of ourselves that is created by our old behaviors. And we clearly aren't aware of the experience of ourselves that is created by our new behaviors. And we want the motivation, and it's over here in this new experience of ourselves. So, here are your coaching questions. When I have a client who comes to session and they have done something, particularly when it is the first time they've done it, whether they've done it in a really excellent manner or like in a barely scratching the surface manner, the question I like to ask is, what was your experience of yourself? It shifts the conversation. What was your experience of yourself when you said that thing to your partner that you were really afraid to say? Notice, we don't ask what the partner said, because it's not the partner's coaching session. It's my client's coaching session. And the most important thing as we build and grow is how we felt in that moment when we did that thing that we knew we needed to do, that we've been dreading doing, that was really scary, and really capitalizing on Who were you for yourself in that moment? What was your experience of yourself when you did what you said you were going to do, and maybe it failed? Maybe it succeeded. But in that moment, when you chose to do what you said you were going to do, what was your experience of yourself? And then I love to add this on. And I shared this with you in the last podcast, and it's always, always valuable. When you see that experience of yourself, where else can you apply that in your life? Where else would you like to bring that experience of yourself to the table? And what else is available to you when you cultivate that self? And what else happens? And what else do you notice? And what else? Now, I give you these coaching questions because they made such a difference in my life. And I can remember being asked by coaches, what else, what else, what else, what else, what else? Until I felt like a dish rag and every drip of reflection had been squeezed out of me. So I give these to you because they make a difference for your life. Sharing your answers to these questions with a person who won't coddle you, who loves you enough to be straightforward, who is detached enough from your life that they can really put your feet in the fire with love and respect and grace, there's the juice. So find those people. Ask these questions of each other. Get your growth. That's where the motivation is. That's where the real connection is. Because when I see myself as a capable, kind, complete badass, yeah, I'm going to be motivated to do those actions again. Give yourself some grace no matter where you are. And I'll see you in April on Healthy AF.